Can you turn that shit off, man?
It's off.
Trying to do a podcast and you're over
like
there making Clash of Clowns
Is everybody's
noises.
phone on
Clash of Clowns.
Clash of Clowns.
Right.
I'm not trying to play no Clash of Clowns,
silence
okay?
your phone
Clash of
right
Clowns.
I'm
now.
not trying to play no Clash of Clowns.
Mine's is on silent now.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, sauce.
Yeah.
Alright, Aaron, this one's for you, bud.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I appreciate it.
Welcome. Alright.
Yeah, you know, we explained it in the last episode, but I think like later on, we're still gonna be doing this, and people are gonna be like, huh.
Yeah,
I
of
wonder why
course.
people
Like,
do that.
what
What's
do
the
they
clap
clap?
for?
What do they clap?
Like-
It's good luck, guys, is what it is. Some people, you know, they do prayers, or they'll have like, you know, a group huddle. We like the single clap.
We like the clap.
The single clap.
One
That
clap.
seems to be the best superstition that's worked best for us so far. So
Yep. It's been treating us good.
gonna stick to it.
Yeah.
Gonna stick to it.
Definitely.
I've also haven't changed my underwear since the first podcast. That seems to be working as well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep that up.
It's been giving away.
I haven't
that.
changed my socks.
Okay.
That's my thing.
Okay. I like that. Wait, you're supposed to change.
Oh
your
no, I haven't
socks?
changed my hat. There you
Oh,
go.
you really
I
haven't?
really haven't.
He really like.
Well, weren't you
literally-
wearing it backwards earlier though? No. Oh no,
No, I
you
was
weren't.
wearing
You
forward.
put it forward. Okay.
No.
I'll wear it. There you go.
All right. Well, now the superstition's messed up. So
Now-
But
It's
it's
gonna
still
be a horrible
same
podcast.
hat though. Same hat.
it's gonna be a whole
Same
podcast.
hat. Okay.
Welcome. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again on this week, like you've been joining us every week, hopefully, on Taco Tuesdays, every Tuesdays at 2, here on Tiki Tiki Tacos. I feel like I say that differently every time, but you guys get the point.
I think you're doing
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
All right, so I'm Aaron Ide, aka AyoEwanko.
Marijo, you're next on the line here.
You're next.
I'm Marijo
I'm left
from
here.
Hunan.
AKA Confessions 15. What's your YouTube channel? What's your
Oh, I
YouTube
think
channel?
it's SuperWaPOW.
Oh, SuperWaPOW.
SuperWaPOW.
Go ahead and put a little annotation there.
Don't you
Aaron,
have,
if
don't
you
you have
could.
singing videos on your?
I think like two,
SuperWaPOW.
maybe. Like
Oh.
two singing
But you
videos.
got stuff on the come up, right? Some stuff that's kind of under wraps that you're working on, right?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
posting
yeah,
on your channel.
yeah.
I heard about that. You're not too good at keeping it under wraps. But anyways, Vincent Narciso, aka Beancents.
And Mark S, aka JustAnotherMark. Do I do the hand thing? Like, are you gonna put a link right here?
No, you don't get a link.
Okay.
Only
Only
SuperWaPOW.
Marijo? Okay, whatever.
Only SuperWaPOW
That's
gets
alright.
It's gonna be in the info box thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Just
get the
another mark.
info box.
The info box down.
I
down.
used in
Yeah,
like in one of the
annotations.
first videos, I had like a little thing show up on the screen. That's too much work for me.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work for all four of
Yeah,
us.
definitely.
Okay.
Okay, so not first. I was about to say the first episode.
It is not the first episode. Definitely not the first episode. If you think this is the first episode, go ahead and check the other videos out on this channel, because you'll be surprised. You will be
You will
surprised.
Okay, so topic of the day is.
What's the topic today?
Are we doing it?
Are we doing it?
Are we gonna do it?
Are we doing it? What
Are
are
we
we
gonna
doing?
hit them with
Yeah.
it?
We're gonna leave it up to Mary Jo. here,
Marijo, what's
who
the
is our
topic?
guest?
Mold it into a ball and just throw
Our
it at
special
them.
guest today.
What's the topic today, Marijo?
Alright, so today's topic is depression.
Oh,
no.
Are you sure, Marijo? That's kind of touchy. You really
Kind
want
of
to?
touchy.
Yeah.
You really want
Wanna
to talk
do it?
about that today?
Yes,
Are we doing
let's
this?
do
Really
it.
touchy.
It's really touchy.
Really touchy.
Really
Really
touchy.
A little bit.
It's really touchy.
Okay.
So depression. Depression, I feel like it affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways. You know,
Yeah.
And one of the main things is like, a lot of people are depressed, but people don't realize it. Like it's a lot. It's actually a large
Exactly.
percentage of like, for example, high school students. Like they say 60% or something like that, or of high school students are depressed.
they just don't notice.
Yeah.
They don't know what's wrong
Everyone
with
thinks
them.
that everybody's happy,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like teachers don't assume that their
Oh, well, yeah.
students are depressed or anything.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I feel like there should be a class in like high school or
I think there
you know
should
like
be.
set aside for like that kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
like we set a time, like set aside a time for like sex ed. Why
Yeah.
can't we set a time for like
Depression,
you know,
confidence, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
That's a big
that's
thing,
true.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now that I think about it, that's actually a really good idea. I've
Mhm.
never even had that idea cross my mind, but that can be good, but in other ways it can be bad. Because like we were saying even before we started this podcast,
subject.
yeah, it's definitely a touchy subject. Because there are those kids that'll be like, oh, ha, you're depressed, go kill yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people,
trolls?
yeah, they don't take it
Yeah.
as seriously as other people because they don't really understand what depression is, and what these people are going through.
Yep.
Yeah. And like honestly, a lot of the symptoms of depression, like the reason why everyone doesn't really necessarily like think they're depressed is because the symptoms are usually overlooked. Like they're so simple, but they're overlooked, and that's why a lot of people don't realize that they're actually depressed.
Okay.
So like for instance,
Okay.
like when people don't really want to go out, they think they just want to spend alone time.
Yeah,
or
it's
they
like,
just
oh,
want
I'm
to
just
stay
lazy.
inside, but in reality, like they just feel like they don't want to go out because like of this, and this.
Yeah, it's like
you know?
subconsciously something's underlying. You know, like
Yeah.
you're depressed. You don't realize. It.
Now we're not saying, hey, you're depressed.
Yeah.
You should be depressed. You
not
are.
wanting to go
That's
out.
not what we're saying. It's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying if you're depressed and you feel alone, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that just don't know that they're standing there with you. Is all it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I've definitely felt that way. Like when I got out of a relationship, I felt super depressed, and I felt like I was by myself.
Okay, how about this? Let's just
Uh-huh.
start it off like this. What do you guys define depression as? Because some people will use depression as an adjective. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I studied really hard for this test. I failed the test. I'm so depressed now. My day's ruined. I'm depressed. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like how people use anorexic as an adjective. They're like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten since breakfast. I'm so anorexic. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Or like
the
they
exaggeration.
use insomnia as
Yeah.
as an adjective.
But it's
you know?
actually like a
It's like, oh, I can't
diagnosed-
sleep tonight. I have insomnia. No, you don't. You weren't diagnosed exactly.
Yeah, it's like a
You weren't
diagnosis.
diagnosed with insomnia. You were not. You know.
just can't sleep this night.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or whatever it is.
So depression, how would you define it?
Let's start off with you. Yeah.
Why me? Everyone looks at me. Is it because you guys know that I'm the most depressed?
No,
not
that's
at all.
Because
No, because usually when somebody asks a question,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like they
true.
wait for the response because you yourself already have an answer.
Well, I'm still waiting for the response.
Okay, well,
Okay.
let's say me. I think, well, you can be sad, but you don't need to be depressed. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think, okay, well then I think...
Like there's a fine, well, not a fine line. There's
I
a
think-
difference
I think I have
between
a
sad and
definition.
depressed.
I think, like, it's... Depression, I think, is, you know, where it can be a problem, I guess, where it's kind of crossing the boundary. That's how I see depression. Well, I don't know.
It's hard.
It's
hard to
definitely
explain.
hard.
I think for my definition, I just thought of it right now. I think the definition of depression is any negative emotion that affects you negatively, like as far as production goes.
I can get
Whether
behind
it's
that.
like going to
Yeah.
school, going to work,
Yeah.
getting up in the morning.
The way I see it is if it affects every aspect of your life,
Yeah.
then you're probably depressed.
There was
Yeah.
Every aspect.
There was a kid in my high school actually. He was so depressed to where like he didn't want to get up and go to school, so he just missed a whole bunch of days. And like word got out, and he was like, "Wow, like I would have never guessed that guy was depressed," you know. And that's usually how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people you would never guess that these people are depressed or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
And-
agree.
And then a lot of times, people will find that sort of thing out when it's too late,
Yeah.
which is kind of disappointing because if we had just talked, just gotten to know that person, certain things could have been avoided. But no one's really to blame,
Yeah.
because it's not their friend's fault for not asking them. But sometimes you got to be able to open up too. And I feel like that's a lot of people's problems is they're upset, but they can't find a way to open up.
Yeah.
They can't find a way to just like talk to people and say, hey, here's what's wrong with me. Like, what do you think's going on?
Or
'Cause
sometimes,
I don't know what's going
sometimes
on.
they just don't have anyone to open up to because they don't have very many friends. They're not comfortable with them, or their family just isn't the kind of support they're looking for.
At
Very
the same
true.
time,
Yeah.
too, you know how you're saying, like, people are going to be saying, like, kill yourself? It's that fear as well. where it's
Exactly.
like, if you're depressed,
You don't know how the people are gonna take
what
it.
reaction you're gonna get.
And that's the reaction.
You don't want to
exactly.
be called stupid.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Whenever I talk to people about my depression, because I do feel like I am depressed, I mean, I really don't know what depression is, I don't know what love is, I don't know anything. I only know what I think I know, but I think I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And when I tell people this, that I think I'm depressed, they make me feel stupid.
Yeah.
Because they make it sound so easy to be happy. They're
Yeah.
like, it's like, hey,
It's like all you have to do is be happy.
exactly. But it's not that simple. It's not black and white, you know what I mean? It's not...
Yeah.
Like I'll tell them, I'm depressed. Well, why are you depressed? Well, I put myself down a lot. Well, stop putting yourself down. Well, I understand that I could just stop doing that, but because I've been doing it repetitively every day for like the past 10 years of my life, you know what I mean? Like you telling me to stop putting myself down is kind of like me telling you to stop blinking your eyes. Like,
Yeah.
that's something you really got to think about and try really hard at.
Yeah.
But it is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, But you got to be careful about when you're giving this kind of advice to, depressed people. How you're sounding to them. Because a lot of times you sound high and mighty, like,
Yeah, I feel you.
You have to be
that
like
could be
considerate.
flipped? Like,
What do you mean?
like if you're happy, like stop being happy. Do you think it works the same way? Or?
I think as far as like happiness goes, because like sometimes like when you're in that depressed mood where like you're just so negative and pessimistic, and you're talking to somebody and you're not necessarily putting them down, but you're trying to show them like how you feel this way. For example, one thing that for me is like how I have a negative viewpoint of life, and like how life is pointless to live because we're all gonna die. Just for an example, and then they say like, oh, there's so much to do more in life.
Yeah.
And you can do
Or
this and this.
here's another one. They'll say, stop seeing it that way.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, what do you want me to do? Just take out my eyes and put on different eyes? Like, I've always seen the world this way.
Yeah.
I can't just
Exactly.
completely change my perception because you
Yeah.
tell me to.
Yeah.
And then these people get angry with you because you can't do it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I was kind of telling you guys this a little bit before we started the podcast, but it's kind of like if someone asks you to come out, like, oh, they call you up, oh, let's hang out today. Oh, I can't. I have the flu. Well, what do you mean you have the flu? Well, I've got body aches and I'm throwing up. Well, have you tried not having body aches? Have you tried not throwing up?
Stop throwing up. That's all you gotta do.
Like
to get rid of the flu,
wait.
stop
Why
throwing
do you feel bad? Oh, because I'm throwing up. Well, if you stop throwing up, you won't feel bad. Well,
Yeah.
When you put it in that like perspective and like with that analogy, it just makes so much sense.
yeah,
And it makes them sound very illogical. And, like,
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
that's a good analogy.
And like honestly, going back with what you said, it's like usually when people ask me like, "Oh, why are you down?" and I kind of tell them and try to explain to them as to why I'm down, they usually tell you, "Oh, like you have a roof over your head and you got this and this and this." But it's like a completely different perspective
Exactly.
on how I see it.
Exactly.
It's like I'm so grateful and I'm thankful for everything that
Yeah.
I have,
Thank
but
you. Thank you.
like there's just this void that I can't escape because it's just like sometimes. For some reason, I wake up and I'm just sad, and there's no reason as to why I'm sad. It's
Yeah.
just I'm
Exactly.
sad, and today's just not my day. And when people ask you why, and they try to make you feel better, like no matter what you say, like my day has already been like I woke up like this, and there's really no explanation. You can't help me, and I know I can't help myself. But sometimes, some days are better than others, and like you just can't really explain it.
No, I don't want to say you can't help yourself. I mean, it can get difficult,
Yeah.
but definitely the more that you try to change your mindset.
There are things like people, for example, if you're single and the most important thing in your life is finding a relationship, then like obviously like you can't help yourself if you need someone else to make you happy.
Yeah,
that's
But there's stuff that you can do
Yeah.
to help like not be as depressed or not be as sad.
That's another thing that I really believe is that you shouldn't make your happiness and well-being on something outside of you. You shouldn't
Outside of
rely.
yourself,
Yeah.
You shouldn't rely, on anything outside of yourself to bring you happiness.
Yeah, you find,
Because
like,
the
inner
moment that
peace.
thing goes away, like it takes your happiness with you, and you're at a complete loss because you've always only had that one source.
And you invested like all your energy
Exactly.
and all that and all your love like
Exactly.
for that person.
You're just gonna
Exactly.
crash.
They kinda
Like
just, like, give
if
all
that
your love
person
away.
leaves, it's just gonna be like a disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not only people, it could be drugs, it could be your car, it could be
Anything.
video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever,
I get you.
you can't rely on something outside of yourself.
To make you happy.
Exactly. I mean, going back to like a girlfriend or a boyfriend, I want to say you don't want to go looking for someone if you haven't found yourself.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Like,
What you were saying though about how like they did that comparison of like, oh, you should be happy because you have like a roof over your head.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That reminded me of in psychology, it's called like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and basically like it starts off with little very very basic things like food and water, and some people don't even have food and water, right? So that's all they ever want. So like they get that or whatever, and then people like us who have food and water, then we want the next level, which is like shelter.
There's
like
always gonna be
AC.
more.
There's always
Yeah.
gonna be more and more and more. So
Yeah.
you shouldn't compare somebody who's at the bottom to somebody at the top. It's kind of
Yeah.
like not fair.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, true, very true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Because
like that. Yeah.
who's not to say that the guy who doesn't have a roof over his head,
Who-
he could be happier than us, like just sitting in
Exactly.
this room,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a very valid.
But then a lot of people will say, well, look at that guy with no roof and he's happy, and you're here with a roof and you're unhappy. Like, I get what you're saying. You shouldn't
yeah,
compare them.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's not a very valid comparison.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Because all people are different.
We all want different things.
Yeah, definitely. It's not. I wouldn't say I'm unhappy because I want something and I don't have it. I'd say I'm just unhappy just because of my outlook. Just because I kind of have a similar outlook of your life. Where it's kind of like, oh, everything's pointless because we're all going to die.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we can all make our difference within our own society, within our own time, you know what I mean? One little thing can make a huge difference. I mean, this is kind of a really bad example, but this is the one that came to my head. Adolf Hitler was one guy. He was one guy.
Yeah.
He was one guy.
Honestly, he was.
And we talk to him till this day, you know. And we'll talk to him. We'll talk about him forever, probably. It's one guy. I'm not saying you should go out and like commit genocide so that you can leave your mark. I'm just saying it is possible to leave your mark. You know?
Yeah.
Steve Jobs. There's no,
Steve.
like just these names. Like you hear these names and you already know what they've done.
Yeah, what they've done.
You know what I
who they
mean?
are,
And
their
the
story,
thing is,
everything.
a lot of people don't think that they can get there, but anyone can get there. It's just a matter of the willingness.
Yeah.
You know, the willingness to keep on keeping on.
And the
One thing,
perseverance.
me and Marijo was talking about this earlier about like how one thing that people are depressed about is like they feel like it was from The Fault in Our Stars. The guy feared oblivion.
Yeah.
And like dying without making any impact in anyone's life at all. And
Exactly.
that's like one thing that he was like sad about or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's something that like I guess a lot of people do. They want to be remembered when they're dead, you know. So, like, what do you guys think about that?
To be honest, I don't really care so much about being remembered when I'm gone, as much as I do. I don't know.
Being impactful in people's lives.
Well, I don't know. It's just hard. I'm just hard myself, and I feel like that's really why I'm just really upset all the time. Is because I'm upset with myself. You know what I mean? Like, I hate myself. And a lot of people, when I tell them that, they're just like, "Well, don't hate yourself. You gotta love yourself." You know?
Yeah.
And I can understand that concept.
Where it's coming from.
But the thing is, I can see so many things wrong with me that it's impossible for me to love myself. But what I'm trying to do now is suck less every day. I don't know if you guys saw that channel yet, Suck Less Every Day.
No.
But
Yeah,
I'm trying to suck less every day and just every day find something that I don't like. Try not to do it anymore.
Try not to do it anymore?
One problem at a time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because I hate myself for reasons. I don't hate myself just because I hate myself.
Yeah.
There are a lot of reasons why I hate myself. I just gotta take it one reason at a time. You know, I can't flip the script completely right away. I can't just change my mindset. You gotta take it, you know, baby
Yeah.
steps.
That's kind of like when
one step at a time.
just like for a real basic analogy is like when people
Yeah, I
are like
know.
you're like say it's Monday, right? You have school, you have to do like you have a paper, you have to go to this party and all this, and you're freaking out because there's so much to do. But if you just like do one thing at a time, then eventually you'll just finish it all.
Yeah.
So that's a good like
It's a lot of-
just one at a time, like a baby steps.
Because what a lot of people do, like they know what they have to do, but they just freak out
The
about
amount
it.
of work.
So
there is.
all they do is just stress and think about it rather than actually doing it. You know, like getting the tasks done like one by one. Because all
Yeah.
they're doing is just thinking
They're
about the whole
looking.
picture.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's good to look at the whole picture.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta set your goals
Yeah.
closer. You know what I mean?
Like,
I
break
mean,
it down.
you should know what you want to be doing 5 years from now.
Yep.
But you should also know what you're gonna be doing next week.
Yeah.
You should also know what you're gonna be doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
You should still have those short-term goals to help you reach that long-term goal, which could be a
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that long-term goal is, you're not gonna reach the long-term goal unless you set the short-term.
The short ones first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like checkpoints, you have to just reach those checkpoints first.
Yeah, and when you go through checkpoints, you gotta make sure, you know, keep your eyes straight, window already rolled down, you know, driver's license ready to give to them. Act natural. Just act natural. And don't be Mexican.
I was like, wait, what?
Don't
are we,
be Mexican.
Are we playing Grand Theft Auto? Oh
I
no,
was like,
it's
what's
a
happening right
checkpoint.
now?
Checkpoints.
Checkpoints, police checkpoints.
Alright, so unfortunately, guys, this is gonna have to be a two-part podcast, because we've got a lot to say about this topic. I mean, we probably haven't really said anything at all.
Yeah.
As
We
of
just-
this
I barely
podcast.
said anything.
We just
I
scratched
don't know
the
if you guys
surface.
noticed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We've just barely scratched the surface. That's
Yeah.
right. So we'll be back for maybe a part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of this podcast. We'll probably spread them out a little bit.
Yeah, this is a.
We'll spread them out. So
really
it'll
big
be like
topic.
after
topic.
after this topic, it's not going to be depression again, but maybe, you know, every other episode we'll continue.
Yeah.
We'll continue it.
And if you have any questions or any concerns that you'd like for us to address,
Exactly.
be sure to comment as well, and we'll make sure.
And let us know what you guys think about depression. What you guys think we should touch base on. You know,
Yeah.
how you perceive the idea of depression. Are you depressed? Do you know people that are depressed? Have you thought about suicide or anything like that? Just let us know. We'll
Def-
talk about it.
Yeah, definitely give us feedback, and if you want to talk to each one of us individually, like for example, like, oh, Aaron said something and I had a question, you can, you know, we all have our individual channels, so you can contact us or whatever. And
I'll put all the links in the description below. Just okay.
Yeah, it's hot, guys. It's hot. I don't
It's
know if you
super
realize
hot.
it's
It's
hot.
hot.
That's
That's
hot.
why I
We're
haven't
losing
been
our
talking.
minds.
I'm just thinking about how hot it
We're
is.
kind of
Yeah.
losing our minds a little bit.
it's
But know that
really,
we love you.
really sweaty under my arms.
I'm seriously sweating so hard right now.
Alright, we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday at 2 here on Tiki Tiki Tacos for Taco Tuesdays. Thank you guys. Love you.
Take care.
Stay scrumptious.
Later.
Keep the head up. Keep your head up.
Gotta keep your head up. Oh. Oh.
Shakalaka boom.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Anyway.
Shots fired. Oh
Pick
man,
a
that was
pick a
great.
boo.